want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
We are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
Your home for healthy masculinity. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
Hey, welcome to the party, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
How do we do this?
Hey, man.
What's that?
Did you know
What's who?
I'm Kirk M. Samuels?
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that makes me Jason B. Kendrick.
And we are the Mad Men of Masculinity, baby.
That's right. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
Yeah, that's the annoying thing that we do.
That's
we do these things. We stream live on Facebook and YouTube. We also record at the same time for the over-the-air show. Saturdays 8 a.m., Wednesdays 6 p.m., KLDC 1220 a.m. in the Mile High City, baby, and on the interwebs everywhere. And so some of us watch live, some people watch live, and we do some annoying things on camera just to mess with some people. So, check us out, madmenradio.com. You can find us everywhere.
Yeah, and for those of you who have issues with schedule and you can't catch us live on the air Saturdays at 8 and Wednesdays at 6, you can stream us from Spotify,
Buzzsprout, anywhere as a podcast.
Yeah,
iHeartRadio,
Apple Podcasts, so
everywhere.
And you can look at our beautiful faces.
Something like that. It's kind of cool to get the emails from Buzzsprout. You have X number of downloads. It's like, what?
Yeah, we had 100 downloads, and then within a few days, went up to 150. So, I mean, people are watching.
Doing some bangs.
People listen.
A lot of people think that we have this outline for our shows, and we get all deep and complicated into how it's going to go. And
I don't think they think that.
Yeah, I've had a couple of people like, man, y'all seem to go away from one thing to the next. I'm like, nope. I mean, pretty much 9 times out of 10, actually pretty much 10 times out of 10,
that's just how we
topic
roll.
And we just go for it. Yeah. We had a topic and we're like, what do you we text the day of or the day before. We talk about this or that. And we thought that out there. Boom, let's do it. Next thing you know, boom,
here we are.
Topics come together and we do this thing live. An hour here, then we come back on Tuesdays and do a streaming only kind of 30-minute version of the same topic. And so yeah, man.
That's for you millennial ADD kids. You can't stand an hour, so we'll do the 30 minutes for you.
I need a half hour, man. I ain't got time.
It's just too much.
It's too much. I can't commit that much. Committal. Speaking of committal.
Hey, it's that time of year. It's cuffing season, right?
It's cuffing season, man. It's the middle of February.
Ooh.
Y'all better not have no ashy chocolate out there.
Hey, wait.
If you waited till now, the chocolate is definitely ashy.
It's ashy.
If you waited till this point, then whatever chocolate you're gonna get is gonna look like that part of your between your thumb and your index finger. Right in the middle of wintertime, it's gonna look just like that. Straight ashy. So make sure you get some good chocolate, man. Don't hand over no.
Yeah, get you some good European chocolate. Get you something that's like a little high class. Don't just be getting that Russell Stover's. You don't even know if it's been there this year. If it's fresh, it might have been last year. I mean, they always look the same.
Because they was putting out like Valentine stuff after Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, man.
Yeah, it was right after Christmas. I started seeing Easter eggs. I'm like, wait a minute.
So it's cuffing season, man. And, so this is for some people, for some people, there's this big build up to the day. And if you got somebody or if you're trying to get somebody, a lot of times you'll make plans. Maybe you'll do dinner reservations or maybe, bomb chicka, you'll plan something, you cook something at the crib or something like that. And, for a lot of people, that's the thing, right? And so that comes and then that goes and then what?
Yeah. Yeah, we've had these episodes. If you go back into our pre-radio show, you go back into the catalog on YouTube, you'll find how men feel about Valentine's Day. And so what we have basically come to, and our opinions, or let me speak for myself, my opinion is...
Don't speak for me, man. You don't know me like that.
Man, I probably could speak for you, but not after all these years. Anyway,
cool.
So my opinion is don't allow Valentine's Day or any of these other holidays to be your one access into romance, your one day to do those things. It should be something that you continue on. And that's why we're doing this episode, because Valentine's Day is quite near. And actually when this airs had just happened. So what do you do after Valentine's Day when you want to keep the romance going?
And that's the thing, it shouldn't be the thing. It shouldn't be the day. You shouldn't celebrate somebody just on their birthday. You shouldn't celebrate love just on Valentine's Day. If you got somebody specially, you shouldn't just, okay, that's the day you get a card, or that's the day we do something special, or that's the day we do a date. No, you should be doing that regularly. And so, in terms of Valentine's Day, it should just be an extra day that you get thrown in a bonus day to celebrate, whatever it is that you have, whatever it is that you're trying to build, and all those kinds of things. And so when it comes down to, the day after, it shouldn't be a letdown. It should just be a continuation of all that kind of stuff. But how do you continue all that kind of stuff? How do you continue those things, when they don't have ashy chocolate on the shelf? You know, how do you continue those things when it's not in the air per se, when there aren't commercials and all those other kind of things. And so, that's kind of that's the point here today.
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. And so we're going to break it up a little bit. We're going to talk to men for you ladies, and then we're going to talk for men to you ladies.
I didn't know we was going to do that.
Yeah, we're see, this is how we roll. We're just
Okay.
off the cuff.
I'm down with it.
So, gentlemen, and we'll jump into it a little bit here, but I want you to kind of get an idea that you do good most of the time when it comes to work, when it comes to household chores, when it comes to what you got to do, your car maintenance, things like that. We, as gentlemen, as men, need to make sure we put the same effort into our ladies. So putting things, I know it's not sexy, but putting things on the calendar. And if you want to know the way to a woman's heart, it's an unexpected gift at an unexpected time. So yeah, they may all want stuff on Valentine's Day. They may say, "Oh, you don't have to do anything for Valentine's Day," and that's a lie. They're setting you up. But if you really want to keep the romance going, setting up something to remind yourself that, oh, this is my love, this is my lady. Let me surprise her with something. And we get busy. We compartmentalize. We got the little boxes in our brain. So put it on your calendar. Put some sort of reminder. And make it a day, not Valentine's Day, not Christmas, not her birthday, just some random Tuesday to do something special for her and keep that going. And make sure, guys, especially when you get married, especially when you get into a committed relationship, to make date nights and doing things together a priority. That's one of the main ways to keep the romance fresh and romance going.
I mean, let's keep it real, guys. We know that when we want something, we work for it. Work is a 4-letter word, but at the same time, when guys want something, and when we want something desperately, we pursue that thing. We're natural kind of hunters and gatherers and those kinds of things, and builders and creators and all those kinds of things. And so, you have to continue to want that. And then as you continue to want that, you got to continue to work for that. The work follows the want. And so, if you want that thing, you got to make sure that your work measures up to your want. And quite honestly, I think that speaks to how much you want something in terms of the effort you put in to work for that thing. And so, if you want whatever it is you have, especially if you want it to continue, if you want it to grow, if you want a fire to grow, what do? You put on a log.
Add some fuel.
You feed the fire. You add the fuel to it. You maintain the fire. You work the fire. You got to work that. You got to turn some logs. One of the most pivotal experiences I had several years ago, I did a weekend alone by myself up at a friend of mine's parents' condo. And I had no media, no TV, no computers, none of that, no schedule, no timeline, no technology, no nothing. And it was just me in the condo, and that was absolutely it. And one of the things that I did that weekend, I had a fire in the fireplace, and I just kept it going. And overnight and all those kinds of things. And when you just sit there and sit in the presence of that and just maintain that, man, it's like you can't just put a log on there, because then all on one side of the log will burn. But so you got to work it, you got to turn it, you got to stir it up, you got to all those kinds of things. And that's the same way with the relationships and with the love and with all those things that you're trying to create, that you're trying to build.
Yeah, I mean, the campfire analogy is a great analogy because it does take work, but like anything else, the hard work's in the beginning. Then it's just maintenance. Once you get a bed of coals, once you get the fire going, once you get that relationship started, now I think that's what happens to a lot of guys is we get the relationship started, and then we think that's it. We don't think about it with that maintenance mentality of we need to keep this going, we need to add fuel to the fire, we need to tamp the coals, we need to stoke the coals, we need to make sure we're rotating the logs, we need to keep adding logs to the fire to keep it going. and keep that heat burning. And I think that's what happens a lot of times in relationships, is that it's all hot and heavy in the beginning. And then as we get into life and we start having family and jobs and mortgages and all these other responsibilities, we neglect to stoke that fire between ourselves. And that's why doing little things continuously. And if you do little things continuously, they don't have to be these big things like, it's Valentine's Day. I got to run by the grocery store and get that wilted bouquet of red roses that don't look like anything because, it's a box of Ashley chocolate. That's all that's left. That's an afterthought. That's why we say, guys, because we're linear thinkers, leave yourself a note and do it throughout the year. And just pick random days. I mean, if you got to put the calendar up on the dartboard and just throw a dart and just pick a random day, just, an unexpected gift or occasion at an unexpected time is a good way to get in your woman's heart.
Yeah, the rocket uses most of its fuel getting off the ground. Then once you get up in altitude, so most of the work is in the beginning. But guys, metaphorically speaking, getting it up is one thing, keeping it up is another.
Wait a minute, this is FCC radio, man. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about rockets, man.
Rockets.
Man, are you tripping, dude? I'm talking about rockets.
I wasn't the only one. I wasn't the only one that heard that.
You probably was the only one, man. I'm talking about the rocket shit, man.
Sure.
You stop being creepy, dude. I'm talking about rockets, man. It is it's real easy to do the song and dance and all that kind of stuff. It's like the bird that does the thing with the wings and all the dance and all that kind of stuff, trying to get the attention of the woman. And guys will get they'll get the car that looks good, and they'll hit the gym all the time to look good and all these other kind of things. But dude, I mean, all that is great. But man, if you ain't putting in the work when nobody's watching, then you ain't really putting in the work, because most of the good work in life is when nobody's watching. And so that's the kind of stuff that is required to keep it after you get it. And you'll put a bookmark in that, because I'm gonna come back later on and talk about it from the other side. But it's one thing to get it; it's a whole other thing to keep it. So we got to be just as intentional about keeping it as we do about getting it. Getting under the hood of that car in the garage and tinkering around with this and tinkering around with that. It's to fine tune it and all those kinds of things.
Yeah, it's one of the things we as men and women, but speaking directly to men, we need to make, starting the fire is always exciting. Building, getting the wood, getting the fuel. Yeah, starting the fire is exciting, but we need to change our mindset of keeping that fire going, keeping those coals hot, making that as exciting, or making that as much of our work in the relationship as anything else, because that that's what keeps the longevity. That's where the depth comes in. That's where really the intimacy comes in, is keeping that fire going. So, speaking of keeping it going.
Boom, let's keep it going. Let's go out of here, man.
Where are we going?
Let's go for a break.
Hey, let's go for a break.
Break.
Mad Men of Masculinity on KLDC, 1220 AM in the Mile High City. We'll be right back.
Boom. I knew you was going to catch that, man. Because you're a creeper. I'm a closet creeper.
See, at least I'm upfront with my creepiness.
Yeah, I like to be sneaky with the creepiness.
You got to throw me under the bus.
I'm creepy on the sneak. Yeah. I don't. You just openly creepy. I'm like closet creepy.
Well, I don't have anybody at home right now that's worried about what I do. So
very true.
Just letting them know I'm creepy up front, so that if they're okay with that, then later on I can calm it down.
That's true. Bring it right up front, man. It is what it is.
This is me. Love it or lump it.
Boom. All right. And we're back. We're back. Mad Men of Masculinity, KLDC, 1220 AM in the Mile High City, Denver, Colorado, and on the interwebs everywhere. Talking about the cuffing season. The peak of it being mid-February, and then what next? What about that? We're just talking about the fire and keeping the fire warm. The heat comes from the coals. The heat. I mean, really, when you're building a fire, it's about getting the coals that's sustainable. If you got some coals, you can keep the fire going. And so the heat and everything that you need, everything that you want to build, it's about the coals, man. It's not about just the throwing another log on there and getting a big 6-foot fire. That's okay. That's impressive. But, it's all about building and maintaining the heat at the base of it, the coals of that whole thing. And so, so getting tangible into all that kind of stuff, man, what that looks like is, man, putting in some work and some specific stuff to do to make sure you keep the coals hot in that fire.
Yeah, and we're actually trying to make your job easier, gentlemen, because what is happening is you're forgetting about the coals, you're forgetting about the foundation, and then you're attempting to just throw these big logs on the fire, add a bunch of gasoline and flame it up, and then hope that rescues the fire or the relationship, since we're using the fire as a metaphor. So this is actually will help you keep those coals, keep that foundation warm and hot, and keep the relationship going by making this a continual something that you do, making putting reminders in your calendar, coming up with ideas, and pay attention too. Pay attention to things she says. Pay attention to things that pop up that you can go, okay, there's a good idea. Then leave a note. Make sure she doesn't say something and the next day you do it. That's no fun. Make yourself a note, put it in the calendar, something like that, where you can come back and make it a surprise. Make it something like, oh, I remember when you said X, Y, and Z, and here we go. Now we're going to that restaurant or we're doing this thing. But it's about stoking that fire, keeping those coals hot, and doing the little things. And they're little things, the little things that she enjoys.
And let me give you some tangible things. How about that? How about some tangible like to-dos? How about some tips?
Tell them.
How about some pro tips? Some pro tips from a wise man. At some point.
Where he at? When's he getting here?
At some point, there's information and there's wisdom, right? So information is one thing, wisdom is another thing. Let me give you two things that I've found to be just amazing. Two dope resources. One of them is an app, and the app is called Paired, Paired. It's called the Paired app.
They don't pay us nothing either.
No. Neither one of these tips are endorsed. They don't do whatever that kind of stuff. These are just pro tip for me to you, right, under the table kind of thing. This app is for couples, right, and so both couples kind of join essentially a mutual account, and then through the app it has built in a lot of questions, a lot of quizzes, a lot of games, and so on one hand, one person will do it, and then it'll show up on the other person's, and a lot of topics to talk about, a lot of deep topics, things that we don't normally talk about, but a lot of things to get insight into the other person. And so, as you use this app, and they come up with just random questions, random topics, all this other kind of stuff. And like I said, so I might answer, on my side, and then the other person will see my answer, and or they'll answer, and we'll see each other's answer and all that kind of stuff. And then like I said, sometimes they have like a how well do you know the other person kind of thing. And either way, it generates conversation and it generates, connection, even virtually. It's a great app, man. It's fantastic. And, I highly recommend that thing. Second one is a book called 8 Dates. And the book called 8 Dates is really about maintaining. It's just essentially what we were just talking about, maintaining the relationship over time. Because like you said, a lot of times, we just get caught up into the mundane, routine and schedule rigmarole of life. And so, you got to continue to date the other person. You got to continue to explore the other person. You got to continue to dig deep and to learn and to grow, because, we're always evolving. And so, we're always changing as a result. And so even in a relationship, the two people change. And so being able to have not only a dating or regimen or routine built into your relationship, but then talking about certain topics, getting into certain topics, I'm telling you, man, it's a game changer.
Yeah. And that's something that I think we either have bought into the fairy tale of happily ever after, like, oh, I find my person and that's it. No, people, even in relationships, actually for guys, especially in relationships, we change and grow. So looking at your relationship through an idea, through a point, through a consciousness of we want to grow and change together. In that way, when you're growing and changing together, when you're doing the work together, you're stoking those coals, you're stoking that fire, you're creating the glue that holds you guys together. It's when you go off on your own separately and attempt to grow that can cause issues and cause fractures in relationships. So doing things like that, using that app, using the book. I think there was another book that I heard about recently where something like, it was the same sort of thing. It was like the data encyclopedia or something, where it had all these different ideas. And you just have to flip a page and scratch off whatever thing is and go do that. So there's all kinds of items out there. There's books, there's apps, there's all kinds of tools you can use to keep that fire going. It's just a matter of having the mindset that we are growing together, we're doing this together, and this is something we want to do together. So many times you get into the relationship, you get, okay, now we're married, now we have kids, now we are focused on the kids and the finances and the mortgage, and you neglect to keep those little things going each day, to keep each other in the loop together, to make it a partnership and make it a team. And so having that mindset of we're growing together, we're making this together, we're doing this together, will do a lot to keep you moving forward, keep the coals, hot, and to keep that relationship going.
And since we're speaking to guys specifically, guys, it is a gift to study a woman. You're a woman, not a woman. That's creepy. That's called being a stalker.
I know you're out there studying women.
That's called being a stalker. I have a theory. This might be politically correct, but I have a theory. The main difference between a stalker and a guy that's really romantic is whether or not you think he's cute.
Pretty much.
But they pretty much do a lot of the same thing. Anyhow, the stalker is just really romantic and he's ugly.
Well, I mean, think about when we were kids, all the stuff we did that that was cute.
Come on, man.
Do that as an adult now.
You'd
be going to jail.
Grown man, you stalker, at that point. But to have, if you have a woman in your life, to study her and to get to know her, and then to begin to predict her next need. And to begin to predict the next thing once you study her and the next thing she's going to need, and you're actually able to be there in her future to be able to essentially make space for her before she's even there. So when she gets to a moment, she doesn't even realize that you already got lunch ready. Yep. Her lunch. She didn't realize that you already did this. You already did. There's so many things. If she's parked somewhere and it snows, you can stop by her car and clean it off. She didn't even realize it. She'll get outside. Every other car will be covered with snow, but her car will be, clean and uncovered. She might not even realize it, but all that comes from studying a woman, and it's a gift. And that's where the whole idea of it's work. Yeah, it is work, but there's reward when you plant seed in good ground, in good soil. And so it all starts, I think, with planting seed in good soil. But when you do, man, I mean, the right woman, she'll grow fruit and crop that you can't even imagine. But a lot of that comes down to studying her and making space for her before she even gets there. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
What? No. What'd she say?
So nurturing on regular reminds each other that just how important they are. Little things sometimes mean the world.
Ooh.
Amen to that.
Boom. Hey, how did she do that?
Do what?
How did you put her comment up there?
Well, she commented and then it popped up and then I put it on because I did make it famous.
Yes, you're watching this live. Comment on this bad boy, man, and we'll see it. Okay, will make you famous over there.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be able to nurture that, man, that's huge, man. And that's the stuff, we all need that, man. And like I said, from a guy perspective, it is what it is. When you value something, you invest in it. When you value something, you study it. When you value something, you fine tune it, you refine it, you tinker it, all that kind of stuff. It's whether you want to use the campfire, whether you want to use the guy that has a project out in the garage, his car thing, he invests time in that remote control car, some guy, whatever his hobby is, make her your hobby. It doesn't sound pretty, but for a guy, when I'm speaking to a guy, you know what I'm talking about. When she's your hobby, we can go in a fantasy football, man. We know stats of every player in the league. We know who's playing who. We know who's injured. We know injury reports of the players before they even get to the game and all that kind of stuff. And so that's what we do as guys. When we make something, our favorite hobby, then, man, we get to know that thing and we get to, we know what's coming up. We get to predict that thing. I'm telling you, it's huge benefits, especially when you're with the right woman.
Yeah, and that's a great point of guys making your woman a hobby or making her a point of interest. And that's one of the things that there's an old saying that if you want a different woman or you're worried about being with just one woman, don't worry. That's the whole point of you guys are going to grow and change together, because when she's young and hot and full of energy, that's one woman. Then when she becomes your wife, that's another woman. Then when she becomes a mother of your kids, that's another woman. When she gets out in the working world, she becomes a boss babe, that's another woman. Once the kids are out of the house, that's another. Each woman changes enough that if you are paying attention and studying her, making her your point of interest, to make your life easier, to make her life easier, to make sure you're creating an intimate, romantic relationship that's going to have longevity. Believe me, you think, everybody has that cereal analogy. I don't want to eat one brand of cereal the rest of my life. Don't worry, it'll change. And you want to pay attention so that you know when it's changing. You can be supportive, you can be there, and that will make her much more reciprocal on your end. She'll be more respectful to you, she'll be more supportive of you. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship. And ladies, we're coming to you after the next break. By studying each other, by making each other a point of interest, you got to stop using that lazy mindset. Oh, I got her.
Yeah,
that's it. Now I can get fat and ugly because I got her. I got her under contract. Not these days, gentlemen.
A feminine woman is like the ocean. A feminine woman is like the weather. Like it's constantly changing. You can go out on the ocean one day and it's glassy calm. You can go out on the ocean one day and it's raging seas, and then there's hurricanes come by, there's beautiful days. And, she's like a cloud. She shape shifts and forms. And sometimes she provides shade and sometimes she provides,
lightning,
tornadoes and lightning. Sometimes at one point in life, she's young and hot. At another point in life, she's older and she got hot flashes. And so, when you invest in that, there's still even a gift in that, man. And that's something that I think we as guys, a lot of us don't get the wisdom from the old guys, right? We don't have a whole lot of gray-haired men in our life. And so that's, some kind of wisdom that we can learn and grow and pass on it. And when you're able to invest in that thing, when you're able to be with that, you get to experience all of the vicissitudes, you get all of the parts of the tempest, and it is a gift, man. It is a gift, but it takes longevity. It takes working with it, and it takes sticking with it. I mean, I've never won a fantasy football league, but I keep playing it every season because I've made it a hobby, a favorite hobby. I've not been good at golf. I do have a hole-in-one, by the way.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I keep going back. I keep doing it. Every guy that plays golf, you know exactly what I'm talking about. A woman is like your golf game. a woman is like your golf game, man. Man, sometimes it's like, oh man, I nailed one. I can use it. I'm gonna watch my mouth. But every guy that plays golf, you get that. But that's what she's like. And when you can enjoy that, you can enjoy the process.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we're really wanting to put forward, especially to you gentlemen. Make your priorities the things that are most important in your life, your hobbies, the things that you pay attention to, and she should be pretty high up on that list. If she's not your purpose, she's supporting your purpose, so she should be top 1 or 2 or 3. And when you have a family, when you have a relationship, you need to be thinking longevity and how do I sustain this? And you know how we sustain this show?
How do we sustain this show?
By taking breaks and having some advertisements.
Boom, let's do it.
All right, so we'll be right back. Mad Men of Masculinity on KLDC, 12:20 a.m. Bye-bye. Man, you was reading the dictionary on the plane, vicissitudes.
I'm telling you what. Smart, man. I didn't get educated.
Did you get that limitless pill or something?
Something
I missed out.
I'm taking some pills. I was about to use some verbiage in the golf game.
You be careful when you talk about holes and balls and
holes and strokes and nailing it and your driver. Your short game, your long game.
You're gonna get in trouble, man.
I was about to go there. I was like, let me not even go deep into that analogy because that ain't, that ain't right.
See, we're getting better, folks, because we would have done that on the air.
Hitting it off the tee, man. Come on, man. Pitching and putting it. I could go
playing out of the rough.
Cleaning off. Getting the brush out, cleaning off your mouth. Oh man, see,
See, this is why you watch behind the scenes, because this is the stuff we can't talk about on the air.
We can't do that. But it is, though, man. But the more I thought about it, it's like, dude, being in a relationship with a woman, a feminine woman, is like your golf game, man. Golf, and it is like a feminine experience, man. You're out in nature. It's a strategy, it's a technique, it's the consistency, it's the sticking with it.
And it takes practice.
And it's like it's an investment in it, the time, the effort, the equipment,
the lessons.
It is, and it's the persistence of it all, man. And it's like you don't quit after you screw up, you stick with it, all that kind of stuff, man. You play it out. The whole point is to get it in the hole.
Yeah, see, gentlemen, you got to have a more of a golf mindset when it comes to your relationships.
Yeah, I'll play golf.
Because, you're going to have those bad days, but you just keep going, and you're going to be tested. She's going to test you. You just keep going. You hold on to that foundation.
And we're back. Mad Men of Masculinity, baby. 12:20 a.m. in the Mile High City. If you don't know where the Mile High City is, you need to holler. You need to roll through Colorado. Colorado's a nice place. Denver's dope.
It's very nice.
We got Coach Prime out here now. He up in Boulder.
What.
You know, Coach Prime. I'm wearing my Coach Prime sweatshirt right now. Coach Prime, holler at me, man. Holler at me. Somebody on the squad, we want to get you on, man. One segment. Holler at your boy. But yeah, come on out to the Mile High City, man. Of course, we're on the interwebs everywhere. Podcast, Facebook, YouTube, all that.
Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube, like and subscribe, and get yourself on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anywhere you get podcasts, because
all that.
We're not going anywhere. We can keep putting this stuff out, so y'all might as well tune in and have some fun with us.
All that.
And speaking of, we're gonna have
shout out Crawford Broadcasting.
Yeah, we better shout out Crawford Broadcasting.
Support local radio. Shout out Crawford Broadcasting. Shout out super producer Nikki Nicole. She's in there doing her thing. You know,
making us sound pretty better than we do. Yeah, this ain't my real voice, man. You heard me in the streets, you'd be freaked out.
We actually both sound like chipmunks.
Yeah.
But she does the auto tune.
She does the auto magic.
Yeah, she does that. Make us sound pretty. That's her job. She's good at it.
Speaking of pretty, we're talking about romance. How to keep that romance going? Because you know what just happened. We just had Valentine's Day.
Hey, easy.
What happened? What did I say?
Easy.
Isn't that Victory Day? No.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. No, that's VE.
Oh, that's VE Day.
Yeah, that's World War II VE Day.
But yeah, we're talking about how to keep that romance bubbling, how to keep the fire going, how to keep it, going after Valentine's Day. After there are no more commercials, there are no more ads in the grocery store and in the mall to remind you, gentlemen, how to keep it going. And that wait, maybe my lady likes flowers and chocolate. But not actually chocolates.
How do you do the work to so that you don't have to find somebody next Valentine's Day?
Right. Yeah. How do you want to keep this one?
It's pretty cool when you got the same one year after year. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty cool. That's a dope thing. So we were talking to the guys.
Yeah.
Now let's talk four guys.
Let's talk four guys. Ladies.
Ladies.
Hey, nice lady.
Ladies out there, man. I feel like a lot of our members are a lot of our listeners rather are ladies. Man.
At least by the analytics, there's 65%.
We get a lot of feedback. A lot of our comments and stuff are from ladies, man. Just listening, because women don't get the kind of the inside scoop between what goes on in between the guys' ears, and they hear guys having conversations and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just the difference of the sexes. We think differently, we act differently, and so the opposite sex is confusing to each side. So we do love the fact that we have lots of ladies. I have had the question many times. So why do we think, or why do I think that so many women, the majority of our audience being women, why do they listen to us if this is a healthy masculinity show? And I think the only really answer I can come up with is that these ladies have got tired listening to their mothers and their girlfriends about what men want.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, you can listen to a whole lot of non-men, and on top of that, men that we are pro relationship, we're pro connection, we're pro healthy masculinity, we're pro femininity, we're pro all that kind of stuff. We're not trying to, we don't believe in women becoming men and all this other in terms of the masculinity. Y'all take on enough as it is.
Yeah.
You really have to take on the mantle of manhood too. I mean, man, y'all do enough as it is, man. Can't you just be a woman? Can't you just be?
Isn't that enough?
Should that be okay? Like, man, do you really have to do everything? What she said?
We want the inside scoop on how to deal with guys. Deal with guys. We're talking about deal with guys, Janine.
She's talking about surviving. We talking about thriving.
Right.
But yeah, to your point though, the inside scoop. We're going to tell you what men think, how men think, and if you want to relate, if you want to, you can trust us.
Yeah.
You can trust what we're telling you in terms of guys, in terms of masculine men out here, healthy masculine, good men. There's a lot of good men. If you want a good man, we're trying to give you that perspective of the good man.
Yeah. And one of the things, I even put a post out. I'm not sure where it ended up on the Mad Men page on Facebook, but it was just this little video meme where the lady's like, I want to get married. The guy says, okay. I want to have kids. The guy says, okay. And then you see her yelling at him while he's on the computer, and he's like, all right, I'll go get a job. I'll take care of the family. And then later on, she's like, I don't feel the spark anymore. He's not giving me all the attention, even though he's working and paying the bills and all this stuff. So one of the things we do want to talk about, ladies, is respect to a man is very much his love language. Respect for a man is very much our love language. And if you want him to continue to reciprocate what he's been doing, we're dogs. Get Caesar Milan over here. He'll get the little clicker out and the dog treats, and he'll train your man up real nice. Because all you got to do is respect him and acknowledge the things you like.
Dude, that's filthy, man, in a good way. I mean, RESPECT, that song, that was written by a man. That was written by Otis Redding.
And then
Aretha Franklin sang it, but it was written by Otis Redding. It was written for a man, and it just happened to be sung by a woman, and became famous that way. And so, yeah, respect to a man is that's jet fuel. That's what we thrive off of. And so, to keep that fire going for a man, first of all, reciprocation is great. I mean, that's fantastic. And, it's all the same things y'all want. Y'all want to be appreciated. Y'all want to be seen. You don't want to be the bad person, the proverbial bad guy. Neither do we. Especially a good man. A good man loves to be, affirmed that he's a good man. A good man loves to be respected and honored and appreciated, not even just in public, but in private as well. Taking care of that man. I love spending the last couple of days around my brother and his new wife, and they got married last May, and just to see their dynamic. I mean, I never got a chance to actually talk to her, but this is a woman that got a heterosexual man in Atlanta, Georgia, to marry her. And if you in Atlanta, Georgia, if you know anything about the dynamics of all that down there, but she was pretty clear, like, you know what? I'm all about gender roles, and I'm all about respecting my husband and taking care of him. And she's a very strong, very educated, gifted woman. She's not some chump. But at the same time, she feeds into his fire and that kind of stuff, man. It was great to see. But oh man, respect is absolutely huge. And so to be able to get that from a woman on an ongoing basis, most guys won't run away from that.
No, if we're getting respect, if we're getting acknowledged for the things that we're doing, and I think that's where a lot of times there's a disconnect sometimes. And I think this is where the self-awareness ladies needs to come in, where you realize, okay, men and women think differently. We operate off different information. Most ladies operate directly from their feelings and their emotions. And so you need to be able to look at that and analyze that and go, okay, I don't feel like he's giving me the attention he used to give me. Well, look at what he's doing. Is he working 40, 50 hours a week? Is he, trying to build a career? Is he paying the bills? Is he doing those things that are his responsibility? Maybe that's his love language. Maybe that's how he shows his love. And so respecting and appreciating him for doing that, instead of going, you just don't show me attention like you used to do. Well, that's just one more nagging thing that he's got to add to his list. Now it becomes a chore, and it's not something that he's wanting to do, or necessarily he wants to do it, but he wants to do it for his reasons. He wants to do it because he feels appreciated and respected. If he's doing it because it's another task on his to-do list, it's not going to come out genuine, and you're not really going to enjoy it.
A good man is not going to shine a spotlight on his work. A good man is not going to say, hey, look at me, look at all the stuff I'm doing, how great am I, and all that. A good man is not going to do that. A good man is just going to get in there and do what he does. And he's going to make space. He's going to make life easier for other people. And like I said, really, a good man is probably doing a lot of things you don't even realize he's doing. But it's making your life a whole lot easier. And so quite often a good man is not appreciated until he's gone. We were just talking before we started recording, super producer Nikki Nicole. She got her dad around, and she's talking about all the stuff her dad's doing and making her life easier and all those kinds of things. And
she don't know how to handle it.
That's a good man. That's a good man. And so, man, I'm telling you, a good man will do things that you don't even realize he's doing. And another, holding space. Protecting, providing. Those are kind of things that go on behind the scenes. Those are things that are normally not, in the spotlight. And so, that good man, he wants to, he deserves to be honored and all those kinds of things. And so, yeah, ladies, you gotta let a good man know when you got him. Oh. I mean, when you gotta let him know that that he is a good man, and you see he's a good man, and he's important and valuable to you, and continue to affirm him in all those kinds of ways.
And make sure, I know a lot of times we have these conversations, we get the questions, where are all the good men at? How do I get a good man? How do I keep a good man? Well, ladies, you have to prepare yourself. Just like we as men do all this work and this preparation to get you and to find you and to hopefully create a healthy relationship with you, you have to be prepared for that man as well. And what I hear a lot of times is, well, I've been doing it on my own so long, especially if you're a single mother, you've been divorced, et cetera, that you have to be prepared to allow him to be the man in the relationship. You have to be prepared to allow him to take that role and to provide and to protect and to do those things. And what I've had the experience in my life as well. I come into a relationship and I started taking on my role and doing the things that I want to do to provide for her and to be a good man in that relationship and to make that relationship work. And then I get some blowback because she's feeling like, well, I used to do those things. Now I'm not doing those things. Now I feel bad about myself because you're doing those things. That's the whole point of having a relationship, is to make each other's life easier. And so be prepared that when you get a good man and he comes in your life, he is going to make your life easier, so you can have a better life, for lack of a better term. You can have a better relationship. You can both grow and be better together. But be prepared that it's going to feel different, and don't take it out on him when he's trying to do good by you.
Yeah, whenever I hear women say, where are the good men, or there are no good men, and all that kind of stuff, I mean, I immediately think they're all around you. They're all around you, but you're not seeing them because you're looking for what the world says is a good man. You're looking for a guy that looks a certain way, that has this and has that, and all those kinds of things. That somehow society, culture, media, Hollywood, all this other kind of stuff tells you is a good man. But a good man is probably has and probably will continue to show up not looking like you expect that good man to look. And that good man will love you to death, will never cheat on you, will treat you exactly the way you want to be treated. But you got to be able to recognize a good man. And quite often, the problem is not there are no good men. The problem is your picker is broken. And the problem is, the men you keep going after are not good men, because that's what the world says they're supposed to look like. They're supposed to be like this. They're supposed to be like that. If you look for dysfunction, you're going to find dysfunction. If you have a baseline of dysfunction, you're going to find dysfunction, and it's going to just keep showing up in your life. And so there are good men all over the place. And the quietest woman on social media, I think sometimes, is a woman that has a good man.
The happiest
she
one.
Ain't out there trying to, do all the selfies to get the likes and all that kind of stuff, because all of her likes come in the form of the loves, and all that loves comes behind the scenes, offline. And so, I'm telling you, that right man will do that thing, but the good woman recognizes, gets, and keeps the good man by making sure the good man knows that you see him as a good man, you honor him, and you respect him.
Yeah, and one of the things to keep in mind as well, ladies, a good man is going to have standards. He's going to have boundaries, and he's not going to put up with a bunch of silliness and craziness. So what I see a lot of is a lot of ladies who are out there in the dating world, and they have such high expectations that they're basically just running through men because they're not willing to take any responsibility for that relationship. They're like, well, he was fun in the beginning and he did all this stuff. Well, you wore him out. You used up all his energy, probably all his finance, whatever it is, and then you didn't reciprocate. And any good man who sees a woman who is just taking and not reciprocating and building in that relationship, and she's just pulling the logs out of the fire, or she's just dumping fuel on the fire just to make it all big and pretty, but it isn't actually there for a long-term relationship. He's a good man. He's a man of foundation and character and values. So he's going to see that and bounce. And a lot of times, the reason you're not seeing the good man is because they're standing right behind you going, is she worth my time? Is she worth my energy? I know that sounds harsh, but that's why you tune in, because we want to tell you the truth. Your girlfriend's not going to tell you this. There's good men all around you, but they're not going to be the sparklers and the fireworks and all the feels. They're going to be the guy who's ready to do the work.
And I think that one-way nature, that relationships can turn into, man, be a great thing to hit when we come back.
Yes.
Let's do a break. We'll be right back. Mad Men of Masculinity, KLDC, 1220 AM in the Mile High City and on the interwebs everywhere. We'll holler at you in a minute. Boom.
Beep, 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 beep.
Boom. That's good stuff. Man, that's good stuff.
You mean we ain't scripted?
Nope.
Just off the dome, we just freestyling this?
Every woman needs a man like super producer Nicky Nicole's dad.
Right?
Great guy.
Is he single? Is he on the market?
Nah.
So he hasn't dated in 30 years. He has no intentions of starting. So somebody can snatch him up.
When you're done, when you're done, you can send him out to the streets. You can release him back to the wild.
Did you finish your chores? Get outside. Go outside and play.
You can release him back to the wild like with a lion or something like that, or like a honey badger or something. You open the cage and release him
Give me one of those. You open the cage and he just stays in the cage.
It's crazy out there.
Yeah, I ain't going out there.
I like this right up in here. I'm cool right here.
I got my blankie. I got my water, my food. I'm good.
No.
And we're back.
We're back.
Mad Men of Masculinity on KLDC. Welcome. We're talking romance, baby.
Because this is your home for healthy masculinity.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
we're talking about romance with healthy men,
Healthy,
ladies.
healthy. This is healthy. Now, well, what about this and what about that? Well, and the guy that I did, and the guy that, well, if you ain't healthy, we can't cover all the dysfunction that's out there. So we gonna just root ourselves into healthy. So if it don't apply, then it is what it is. You ain't talking. Either you ain't healthy, he ain't healthy, or the relationship ain't healthy.
Yeah, we're talking about the rule, not the exception. I know how much you ladies love the exception because it's all about the Disney fairy tale. And yes, your cousin, second cousin, twice removed, had some dude that came out of the woodwork and took care of her and her 10 kids and all that stuff. And now they live in, a fairy tale lifestyle. It may not be you.
Yeah.
Let's not make the exception the rule.
Yeah.
Now, men are pretty easy, but you have to do a few things.
Yeah.
By number one, respecting him, honoring him, acknowledging him, and being willing to hold up your half of the bargain. We keep seeing nowadays, and most of our audience, I can't say this about, because most of you girls that actually watch this have probably been down that road, and you have to bring stuff to the table. You know that you have responsibilities in that relationship. You know that it's 100% you, 100% him. This 50-50 thing doesn't work. And so I'm not really talking to you, but a lot of the younger generation, I keep seeing they have this inflated ego, this inflated entitlement where he's got to do everything and I don't have to do anything but show up and be cute. Well, that works when you're in your 20s and you want to get on some old guy's car or sailboat. But if you want to have a successful relationship, it takes work on both sides.
When you look at the Super Bowl halftime, you see a woman surrounded by 100 dudes, dancing and gyrating, trying to get at it. You got to understand that, you ain't Rihanna. Rihanna's a billionaire. Rihanna been singing. You ain't Rihanna, right? So let's be real about that, right? So let's level set. How about that? Let's get our expectations right. And so when you're in that thing, you got to make sure that whenever there's a good man around, if you want him to stay around, you make sure you reciprocate. You make sure it's a two-way street. You make sure it's a flow. And see, that's the thing. When there's no flow, then it's just a take. It's just somebody's giving and somebody's taking. And when it's a flow, though, it's not a give and take. It's almost a release and receive, a release and return, where it's a circular kind of thing. It's like the cup is always filled because what's poured into one cup overflows back into the other cup.
Yeah, it's kind of the relay race. Like you're playing tag. Like, okay, tag, you're leading. I'm going to follow. I'm going to support. Now it's my turn. I'm going to lead, and you're going to follow and support. That's the ebb and the flow of relationships. But it's always about being willing to grow and learn together, and be willing to put the work in. So, ladies, if you want to find a good man, you got to be willing to put the work in. And he's not going to be the nice guy, the yes man, all the dudes in your friend zone that you don't have any respect for. He's probably going to see that and go, I'm not even going there. So if you find a good man and he has boundaries and he has expectations, that means he is willing to give you the exact same thing he's wanting, because most good men aren't just out there demanding things. They're willing to give what they are willing to get.
Because when there is no flow, when there is a blockage, then ultimately there's a dam, and you're damned.
Oh, damn.
I mean, and I mean that's the literal definition of that. You block the flow so that you can harness the power of the flow. But it's a one-way kind. It's just that I'm taking something. I'm not returning anything. And right now, the Hoover Dam and other dams are like running low with the water behind it because there's no flow. There's no water in Lake Mead. So when there's no water in Lake Mead, what can flow through the Hoover Dam to provide power for 5 or 6 million people that it does? And so when you have to make sure that the flow exists, because there will be times where there'll be droughts. There will be times where where there's a need to feed, and if you don't feed that thing, it's just going to run dry. And I'm telling you, you got to get into the mindset of reinvesting what you receive. And again, you also got to recognize when you have a good man, there's a lot of things that are happening, that are present, that you don't even realize, that he doesn't say. He doesn't pound his chest. He doesn't do the end zone dance when he scores.
Look what I did.
He doesn't do that, now. And so you got to make sure that thing is a two-way kind of street. Women are famous for saying everything goes both ways. It goes both ways. You talk about men need this, men need that, men need, all y'all that in the first half of the show was talking about it goes both ways. I know a bunch of people, it goes both ways. Everything goes both ways. Well, yeah, you're right. It does go both ways. But don't tell me it goes both ways when you ain't proactive about going back the other way that's opposite of you. That when you look in the mirror and not the window, and everything you see is about you, me, and you play it out on social media, right? When it should be about, okay, the us, the we is greater than the me kind of thing. And when the we is not greater than the me, then you're just receiving, you're just a taker. You're just selfish at that point.
Now, we want to give you tips and things to work on to help keep a healthy man, to help keep a healthy relationship. And he hit on something really huge, which I think is something we need to actually address. If you have a relationship you want to keep and you want to work on, spend as little time, if any time at all, on social media. Because there's always hungry guys out there. They're going to slide in your DMs, and as soon as your man does something you don't like, or you're feeling a little less than loved, or you're in your feels and he's not reciprocating, or he's feeling some kind of way, maybe you're having an argument, and instead of thinking this is what makes us stronger, that getting through this stuff, working together, being a strong partnership and couple, and growing stoking the fire, stoking those coals, and generating that foundation that we can grow from. What you tend to do is go, oh, well, this dude I don't even know over here is giving me attention and liking my stuff, and so I'm going to slide over here because it makes me feel better. Well, that's just chipping away at the foundation of your relationship that you are. I'm assuming you want to grow and make, create longevity in. So getting off of social media as much as possible, using it for business or family or whatever, that's fine. But do not allow, because one of the biggest issues we have in relationships nowadays is the inundation of other people and information. There's too much entertainment. There's too many other people. It's too easy to like and have a conversation with somebody all the way halfway across the world or next door. And one of the reasons that relationships worked so well in the past was that it was all about proximity. You lived in a small town. You found a girl that lived down the block that you thought was cute. She thought you were cute. And that was it. Now there's just too much inundation of information and opportunities and options out there. So make sure you prioritize your relationship.
A man of value is not, I feel safe saying this. A man of value is not going to want to be in a relationship where his woman lives out her life on social media, where everything is posted, where everything, where she is posting pictures of her doing this and doing that, whether it's in the gym or out here or out there, whatever. A man of value does not want his relationship to play out on social media, because behind the scenes of all of that is looking for affirmation outside of yourself or outside of your relationship. Is looking for the likes, is looking for the loves, is looking for all the hits, is looking for all that kind of stuff outside of us. And I don't want us to be for them. Right. I want us to be for us. And so that can't happen. Us can't be for us if everything that we do, you got to post on social media, or everything that you do, you got to post on social media. And yeah, I'm talking about outside of work and PR and all that kind of stuff. But I'm talking about, look at me, here I am, look at me in the mirror, look at me out here, look at how good, all that kind of stuff. A man of value is not going to, ultimately, quite honestly, a man of value is not going to stand for that.
No.
Because it's something, you're looking for something outside of what you already have. Therefore, you'll never be happy, you'll never be satisfied, and you'll never be happy or satisfied with him or with your relationship. You'll always be looking for more.
And if you want to have the perfect example so that you can put it into your mindset of what you being on social media looking for likes and attention is like, if your man came home to his loving wife, his beautiful woman, and got on his computer, started watching porn, and didn't give you any attention, basically the exact same comparison. Those two things are interchangeable for women on social media getting attention and a man watching pornography. It activates the same part of the brain. You get the same dopamine hits. And so if your man is stressed out and he's coming home and he's not giving you the attention, but he's going online, it's the same sort of thing as you coming home, not talking to him and getting online and getting attention from random dudes out there. This is how we have ruined relationships through social media and all these other things. So you want to be serious about your relationships. You want to find a good man or good woman and make them your priority and make this something that you're building together. This is about longevity. This is about coming together, building intimacy, and leaving everybody else alone. Like, let them be them and let them do what they do. It's all about you.
We've been looking. We started looking for things outside of us and outside of a relationship that we may or may not be getting or getting enough of within a relationship. And maybe the reason we're not getting it in a relationship is because we're not investing the same
Not
time,
putting into
and
it.
energy that we are into these other exterior things. And so when it comes down to maintaining and sustaining this cuffing season, maintaining and sustaining the fire, the spark that a lot of people might have or might feel, or that is the reason for this season anyway. A lot of it comes down to looking and seeking inside of your relationship for fulfillment, maintaining that and working on that and doing whatever it is to sustain that over a long period of time, feeding that fire. And that fire, looks different maybe from both directions, but either way, the common factor is the work. The common factor is the effort. And when you keep up the work, when you keep up the effort, then you don't have to look for a Valentine's next year.
Yeah, and you remember the old saying, keep the home fires burning. You want that warm hearth. You want the bed of coals. And it may not be sexy, but it's warm. It'll feed you and it'll keep you dry and continue keeping you going in the future. So this is the mindset change. Yes, we want it all to be exciting and fireworks and everything in the beginning, but then you want to start thinking longevity. You want to start thinking bed of coals, foundation, campfire that we're both putting into. So if you're struggling during this cuffing season, maybe look at some of the things we said and look in the mirror and go, what am I putting into this, and what am I hoping to get out of it?
And for those of you that aren't in a relationship, or you had a Valentine's date by yourself or at home or whatever you want to call it.
Hey man, I'm sitting right here.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. And the fact is, buried in that, there's nothing wrong with being single.
Right.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And as a matter of fact, it's a great opportunity to do you. It's a great opportunity to work on you. It's a great opportunity to fill your cup, so that when you do meet somebody, you're not meeting somebody in a state of desperation. You're not looking for somebody to fulfill you. I was looking for a card, and the card was it was a cool card that had a heart, and the heart was puzzle pieces, and one of the pieces was outside the heart. And I thought that was cool. And, I was hoping it was blank because, man, I could write some dope on that. But then the inside of the card was like, you complete me. I'm like,
oh,
that just
Jerry Maguire. Okay.
That just ruined it.
Well, and that's one of the reasons, we wrote the book, or, 7 Secrets of Modern Dating, the he said, she said guide to getting from single to spouse. If you're single and happy, be single and happy. If you are single and wanting to have a relationship, use your time being single to look in the mirror and to look at your traumas, because I guarantee you probably one of the reasons you're single is because you kept dating the same person in a different face, and that meant you weren't dealing with the traumas that attracted you to that person. Now is an awesome time, especially if we're just coming out of cuffing season and spring's on its way. This is the perfect time to look in the mirror, get some therapy, get some help, and work on those traumas and those issues that kept you going after the same person. Because like we said before, we can put 100, say we had a room of guys, 99 amazing good guys, and we put one jerk in there. Most of you ladies wouldn't have any attraction to any of those good guys, but as soon as you saw that jerk, there's just something about him. He's triggering your traumas again. So deal with your traumas, and that way you can have a healthy relationship in the future.
It's a great season to get off of dating apps. It's a great season
get off dating apps.
To take a pause for the cause. It's a great season to just go work on you. Get in the gym, work on your finances, work on your credit, work on your home, work on your mentals, work on your emotionals, your spirituals, all that kind of stuff. It's a great season to take a break and going into the summertime and just doing you. And then you're more of a prize, when it comes down to meeting the next person.
Yeah, just remember, swimsuit season is right around the corner. It's almost there.
I'm wearing my Borat this year.
I am not. I'm done.
And I'm going with you. I'm going to the gym with you.
All right, I'm wearing.
We going to the pool.
If you're wearing Borat, I'm getting my fireman outfit again.
Boom.
Telling you what, bring that hose.
Hey, we love every single one of y'all. Holler at us, madmanradio.com. And look for us everywhere online. We're pretty easy to find. Reach out, comment, subscribe. We'll like, share, all those kind of good things. We'll reply to your comments. We love them.
We do love them, especially if you hate us, because then it just gives us more to talk about.
We love that.
So bring your hate, bring your love. We love you. Until next time. Bye.
Madman out.